So it's that time of year again when we reflect over the year that's passed, think about all that we've achieved or not achieved, think about resolutions for the future. That's what I'm going to do in this video with regards to Star Wars Galaxies Legends. So at the beginning of 2019, well, end of 2018, 2019, it came to my attention that there was a Star Wars Galaxies server that was a little bit different to the ones that I'd played before. I played the Star Wars Galaxies Emu and enjoyed it very much and was very impressed by all they've achieved in reverse engineering the code and so on. But I never really stuck. Well, I did stick for quite a while doing that emulation thing. I had a number of characters all running and supporting one another and was meeting people in that game, but it never really stuck beyond a couple of months. And I heard about this news server from the editor Bree at Massively OP. Massively has been covering MMOs, MMO gaming for years and years and years, and they revamped a couple of years ago, and I've been following them avidly. I always listen to their podcast, the Massively OP podcast. If you haven't heard it, put it on your iTunes well, not iTunes now, iTunes dead, Stitcher, whatever you do your podcasts, listen to Massively OP because the coverage that they do is brilliant. And Bree has always been someone that she has opinions that are kind of similar to mine to do with sandbox gaming. And anyway, she was talking about this server that apparently was very similar to the way Star Wars Galaxies was when it closed. It had jump to light speed. It had active development going on, and everything was kind of as it. And I just found it really, really hard to believe. But having listened to Massively OP for years, I thought, well, you know, that's why I'm listening. This person seems to be saying that this server is great. So I really, really jumped into Star Wars Galaxies Legends with a little bit like, you know, I've tried this emulation stuff before. And I jumped in, and lo and behold, yep, jump to light speed is there. The game seems to be full of content as it was when it closed. It reminded me so much of playing the game when it was live. It was almost identical. That was a shock. So, but you know, I'm a little bit of a cynical person sometimes and thinking, well, something will come to light. There's going to be some kind of toxicity going on with this emulation stuff, and it's not going to feel like the positive, wholesome thing that I certainly desire from games. I just want to have fun, and I want to, when it comes to MMOs, play with cool people and nice people. And so there'll be something wrong with this. But the more and more I played, it was not the case. People were really friendly. I was meeting lots of people. The economy in the game was working with the player base as it was. I think they've done a number of things in Star Wars Galaxies Legends to make that possible, because there is a healthy player base, but also you have 4 characters. They speed up the XP gain, so they're getting people to a stage at which they can impact things like the economy, and they can do high level content pretty quick. So the server seemed really vibrant and really healthy. So I was amazed, and I really started jumping in at that stage. I created first I created my crafter character, and because crafting and the housing and the economy in Star Wars Galaxies is actually what I think is the strength of the game. I know people play for many different reasons. They play for roleplay, they play for the Star Wars setting, they play for the social stuff and the building of communities and so on, and making their player cities and whatnot. But for me, it's always been the crafting and the economy and the housing, placing your house in the world. And so that's what I did first. But I found it really difficult because it's hard to start a crafter with no resources and no support. So then I decided I'm going to create a combat character and go through and get a level 90 combat character. So that was the next thing that I did, and I spent months leveling that first character. That's the longest one, just going through the legacy and getting that character up to the level that, a level 90 character who can start to support this crafter character. So all the while I'm doing that, kind of keeping my head down a little bit, leveling this support character deck and learning about galaxies as I go, stuff started to pop up. I knew there was new content in this game, but I didn't know exactly where it was. And as I was doing the wiki to kind of figure out what I needed to do to level deck, it started seeing things about like this Gorax quest, this Gorax matriarch quest. It's like, oh, that's exclusive to Legends. What the hell is this? So I started exploring all this stuff and realizing how much had been put into the game. I went through as far as I could get in this Ranger series. I put a link to the video, reading forum posts, realizing that they're doing the Friday features. I started following that, and I think it's safe to say that early on I was familiar with Galaxies and not familiar with Legends, and it took about 3 or 4 months for me to really get a sense of who the people were on Legends, what was going on, and how this server was unique. Now, I can't quite remember at what point I decided to do a tutorial on a Star Wars Galaxies feature, but it seemed like an idea that was natural because I kind of know the game. I've played the game. I played the game all through its live, on and off when it was live. So that's a lot of knowledge that you've got about the game, and kind of there's no there's no convenient guides online. If you look, there's lots of stuff, videos covering the history of Star Wars Galaxies. There's lots of stuff, people doing let's plays and doing off the cuff videos playing emulators and stuff, but there's no way for people to go who actually just want guides on the core systems. And you kind of have that knowledge, but again, it's knowledge of the original Star Wars, not necessarily knowledge of Legends. And looking back, it's kind of, I could have really took a step wrong doing those tutorials so early before I really got to know Legends. But as it happens, because Legends reflects the live game so closely, those tutorials are still really useful and still kind of relevant. So it was a happy coincidence, really. I just did it without too much thinking, but they seem to have been very useful to people from the feedback I'm getting. So that was something that I started to do. You know, I'm always trying to like conflate my interest in playing games and my interest in doing YouTube videos. And part of my reason for playing Legends in the first place was that I was just very dissatisfied with a number of games that were coming out. It's kind of like they're not catering to what I want at all. And that's why I started looking for Legends and so on. Not Legends, just looking for alternatives. And it doesn't matter how old the games are. I just want something that is, you know, I was really upset with the Fallout 76. That really kind of made me feel like, you know what, it just seems so cynical, the kind of AAA gaming at the moment. I'm just going to go to something, you know, even if it's a fan server, whatever it is, I'm just going to, because I want to play games that I'm really into, and there was, you know, nothing was scratching that itch. So I'm really, really glad that I found Legends and really threw myself into it. I like to create a stable of characters who are all kind of connected in some way. So I started decorating and creating a shop and creating a place to call home. Like I say, it's really, really important. The funny thing is that towards the end of this year, I made a big faux pas with my characters and forgot to transfer structure ownership. So all this decoration and all this time that I'd spent into your house and what, not just how it's decorated, but I like the house to kind of tell a story. So you have your workshop area, you have the your bedrooms and lounge areas, and you get a sense of who lives in a house. It evolves over time, and I made this really big mistake where I forgot to transfer structure ownership before I destroyed my house, and I thought I'd lost it towards the end of this year, but thankfully it's been restored. The CSRs were able to restore it for me, so all that work that I'd put in and that kind of story that is contained within the houses, I've got that, so I'm so glad about that. But the upshot of doing those tutorial videos was that I got to know some of the people who are, running the server. With regards to the new stuff, I was able to visit some of the new stuff that they're adding, and the kind of scope of what they're adding was beyond what I thought, really. The reveal of the new Bespin planet, which I was able to go and look at with one of the staff there, was amazing. And I kind of thought that there would be small little additions to the game, maybe a quest here, quest there, but the idea of an entirely new planet with all new quests and stuff really was beyond the scope of what I was thinking when they were saying that they're going to put new stuff in the game. So that was hugely impressive. I'm very, very excited about it, and I think it's a unique choice, Bespin, a new type of planet that's similar to what they did with Kashyyyk, and the addition to that with Rage of the Wookiees. It was a slightly different addition to the game. It didn't follow the template of the planets that were in the vanilla game, and there are pros and cons to that. But generally speaking, I think there's no bad thing with variety, and I think Bespin is kind of similar. A city that doesn't have that sprawling scope of one of the large planets, but then you have the problem with the large planets where everything's so spread out and stuff, and this is more contained and things are closer together. It seems to be a trope in gaming at the moment that even with sandbox games and large open world games, it's there's more of a sense of, well, let's not have people wandering for a long, long time. Let's make things generally closer together. So you get that sense of wandering across, say, a desert, but you're not wandering for hours and hours before you actually get to some content. So keeping things contained, I think, is a smart move with Bespin. And I think there's going to be lots of quests crammed in there and stuff. But yeah, this is supposed to be my reflections, and that is one of my reflections. So halfway through the year as well, when I was thinking, like I say, I'd try to tie everything together and try and think of content I can do surrounding the games I'm playing. And it occurred to me I had a character slot free that I needed to do, and so I gave a shout out to you guys and said, what should I do with this final character? And you said, do a Jedi. So I did, and I went through to level 90, and I did all the Jedi trials and stuff, and that was a big quest and a big undertaking. I had a lot of help from you chaps, and it also gave me the opportunity to do more videos about new content that I'd never done before. So that for me this year has been the most fruitful example of just how to tie your gameplay into videos that you can do online. I mean, I have two hobbies really, which is gaming and YouTube. And you think they complement each other, but they don't always. Sometimes they're in conflict and opposition to one another. They both take time. And so when you're doing videos, you're not playing the game. When you're playing game, you're not doing videos. Sometimes you do the wrong type of videos that people are not interested in. So being able to find something that's an ongoing sequence of videos that people are actually enjoying was good, and and leveling a Jedi made that possible. Like I say, lots of help from people, but I'm also thinking, like, it's great to get help, but I want to give something back, and my way of giving back is to do these videos, and once you've gone through some content, do a guide or do something that helps people along their journey as well. But then at the end of that, it was a lot of it's very enjoyable, but it was a lot of grinding. I had this little wobble in the middle of the year where I think I was just burnt out. I did an awful lot with that, and I was doing regular videos and streaming an awful lot, and there is a downside to doing YouTube, and no matter how philosophical you are about it, you get frustrated because you think YouTube is not giving me back the effort that I'm putting in. Screw this, I'm going to do something completely different. And I kind of did that, but I think it's part of it was just, it's good to take a break. Sometimes you get too tunnel visiony if you only doing one thing. And what I should have done was just be a little bit more philosophical about it and just said, look, which I did really. I just took a little bit of a break towards the middle of the year, but after leveling the Jedi, it was kind of hard for me to think what is there left to do in the game, and that's a case of just being burnt out. But you know, and you need to take a break. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. The weird thing is, on the internet, you have to be one thing or the other. There's no nuance. You can't just say, well, you can say, and this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to talk about resolutions. I am not going to make so many. I'm just going to go with the flow more, and I'm going to make less pronouncements about what I'm doing, and I'm just going to be like, you know, if I need to take a break, that's fine to take a break. You don't need to justify it. It doesn't need to be a big life-changing decision with your entire focus. Just take a break, see what happens. Stop being so flipping declaratory. What is that? Making pronouncements. I don't know. Because after I'd taken that break, I'd gone away and done so. Now coming back to Legends and coming back to gaming in general, I'm filled with all sorts of interesting stuff like that I want to do, you know. And my project. So let's talk about what I'm going to do next year. And I want to hear what you guys have been doing and what you're going to do next year. But the project for me is that I'm going to tie, as I was saying, I like to tie all my characters together, and I haven't done that to the extent that I would like, because I want my combat characters to be feeding into my crafters the way Deck did at the beginning by giving money to my Ithorian structure guy. But there's more I could be doing if I changed his trader class to something like chef or even tailor, because then my combat characters could be getting resources for him to use. So I'm tying everything together. So I think that's going to be my new project, and I've done some decorating in my house to kind of think, right, what is this going to be? And I think it's like going to be almost like a restaurant and bar kind of thing, where my crafter is going to be crafting food, and my combat characters and other support characters will be kind of helping that business along. It's a cooperative of characters. So that's my new project for the game. I'm looking forward to getting into that. So it's been a fantastic year, and I am really appreciative. I'm really appreciative of all you guys watching the videos. It means an awful lot to me. I have been doing YouTube for now 4 years, and with ups and downs and successes and failures. And I think it's safe to say that I've never really found a game that is that engages me quite as much as Star Wars Galaxies. And the fact that this seems to be the game that I've started playing, but also in tandem to that, loads of people are watching on YouTube, is really it's really interesting, because I would say definitely in terms of MMOs, Star Wars Galaxies is my favorite MMO. It was, and it now is again, that I'm playing it in 2019. It still strikes me as crazy that I'm playing this game again. But if this is the game that I'm able to play and put videos online as well that people want to watch, that's fantastic, because it's my favorite MMO. So it's absolutely perfect for me. So thank you for watching the videos and showing your support. It means an awful lot. And I think I am going to go with this sense in 2019 beyond Star Wars Galaxies Legends, just in general with my philosophy to doing YouTube stuff. I'm just going to put stuff up that I think, in my flawed estimation, is something that people are going to be interested in. So that is my new philosophy in 2019. On my overview of my Star Wars Galaxies Legends, the first year in Star Wars Galaxies Legends, I returned to something that I played 10 years ago, and I'm enjoying it immensely so far. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good holiday, have a good Christmas, and hope you're feeling positive for the new year. Let me know if you have any resolutions, Star Wars Galaxies or otherwise. But yeah, fantastic. See you in 2020, if not before. I'll probably do some videos over the holiday, so that'll be fun. All right, see you later. Bye.